If you've ever felt like you have a hard time trusting divine timing, or you feel like your dream keeps getting delayed and you're feeling disappointed and frustrated and wondering if maybe you're on the right track, this episode is for you. I want to show you how bumping up against these, what I call sacred stop signs and red lights, is actually where you are building your greatest power. These are actually the place where the dream is being built. It's not just in the moments where it feels like everything is rainbows and daisies and flowing. So let's go ahead and dive right in. My name is Lisa Limata. I will be your host for this episode of the Live Your Yes Life podcast. So at the time I'm recording this, it is Friday afternoon here. Just getting back into town after sort of a crazy week. Our dog actually hasn't been feeling well, and I ended up taking him out of town to see a specialty vet and to have some tests done in a city that's about 4.5 hours away. So my whole week was pivots and change of plans and all of the things. But you know what? It's one of the reasons I'm so grateful to live this life. I'm so grateful for the fact that I've built a life where I get to be where I need to be when I need to be there without having to ask anyone's permission, right? And, I still have responsibilities in leading our company and being there for our clients, but I also have a team, and I've also, built a company that has systems and processes and things that can run when things like this happen, and we know that we still get to take care of our clients. And I'm sharing this just to say that these pivots, these roadblocks, they're at all stages of the dream, all stages of our evolution as entrepreneurs. But I'm so grateful that we get to build a life that allows for this sense of freedom. And I know that for a lot of you listening, that's what you want in your life. You're here to create more freedom in your life. So this little story, I want to just open with a little story of something that happened that then ended up. This is just kind of the funny way that my intuition works with me. It was the last morning that we were out of town. I was on my way to the vet. Our dog had an appointment for 8 a.m. and I needed to drop him off for a procedure. So we got in the car, kind of right on time. I wouldn't say we were late, but we were just right on time. And as I often do, I just said a little prayer, and all I said was, "Thank you for green lights." Just as I said those words, the light in front of me turned yellow and then it turned red. And I immediately said, "Thank you for the red light." I don't even know why. It just came out of my mouth. I was like, "Thank you for the red light." And I was like, yeah, my belief is that all of life is always working for me. And I don't mean that in some Pollyanna, rainbows and daisies, everything is great all the time. I simply mean that I take the lens that either everything is working for me or nothing is. And it doesn't mean everything goes my way all of the time. But when it doesn't, I'm in the practice of asking myself, how is this for me? What is the lesson? What is there for me to learn? Where is this an invitation to step further into my power or to trust my intuition? Whatever it is, it's always an opportunity for me to see something new. So I immediately just said, "Thank you for the red light," remembered that all of life is for me, trusted it, and the light turned green and I was on my way. Didn't really think about it again. So I, dropped our sweet puppy off and headed to the libraries. I had to lead a client call while he was having his procedure. So I'm on having a coaching conversation with one of our incredible clients in our community. And she came to the call just feeling really frustrated and feeling really defeated. And she shared with us that her building permit had been denied again. They had already been down this road. She is building a brick and mortar business, and it's so frustrating, and I totally understand that. Anyone who's ever done any sort of building project, you understand that there are so many delays that just happen and they're out of your control. And, you're just working with so many different things that can kind of halt or slow down the process. So first off, we just had some space to share, and I think that it's really important when we have things like this happen in business that we're actually willing to feel disappointed. So that's where we start, right? Is when we get a red light, we get a stop sign, we get a detour, we get something that comes up in the dream that is unexpected. it's really, really important that we're willing to feel our feelings. So it's not about, just like, oh, yay, this happened. I'm so happy this happened. I'm going to pretend I feel great about it. It's actually having the willingness to feel it all. And this is such an important skill, right? This is emotional intelligence. As we are entrepreneurs and leaders building a business, we've got to be willing to feel all of the emotions, not just the high vibe ones, not just the feel good emotions, but we also have to be willing to feel the disappointments, to be with the setbacks, to really be able to sit with the frustration and not allow it to take us under or to take us out, but to be okay with the fact that it's part of the process. And so we just talked a little bit about the disappointment, the frustration that she was feeling. In that moment, I asked her, what are you making it mean that you had this delay? And she shared with us just really vulnerably and openly, like in this moment, she's like, I'm wondering if this is even the direction I should be in. Now, we all know she's super committed to her dream. She is incredible, amazing, resilient, all of the things. And it is a very normal human moment to be like, sometimes I just wonder. I've had moments like that, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm just ready to blow everything up. Like I'm so frustrated. It's part of the process. And it's really great to have a space, to have a community, to have a place where you can actually be seen in all of the moments, not just the celebrations, but in the moments like this, where, these things happen because this is part of the process. And so I instantly knew, though, in that moment that she shared, I was like, oh my gosh, I know me thinking that red light was 100% for you. I'm like, this is the crazy way my intuition works. But here's the message I received. The minute I hit that red light this morning, I said, thank you for the stoplight. And so we did some coaching. I was like, what is there in this that we can be thankful for? What do we get to look at? Or how might this be for you? Let's just start playing with, what could be possible. Sometimes I think that it's just like a little bit of energetic protection from the universe. Something isn't right. Something isn't a green light yet. There are still things being worked out in our favor on our behalf. And there's a process and there's a divine timing to everything, right? In the same way that if we go and plant a seed in the ground, there is a process and a divine timing to when that seed turns into a tree or a flower or a vegetable or whatever it is. And we understand that. We get it. We get that there is a season where it needs to grow and be nurtured and be watered. And truly, our dreams are the same way. So sometimes something just isn't ready to bloom and we hit those red light moments. So step one, if that is you, if you are walking through a big delay, a big disappointment, give yourself some space to actually feel the disappointment, to let that emotion have a moment. Cry if you need to cry, talk about it, write about it, process it through, and then decide. Decide what you want to make that moment mean. Because it's in these moments where we as humans get to decide the meaning, that we tap back into our power. Right? She could have in that moment made it mean that this dream wasn't for her and she should just give up and she should just walk away. But she didn't. She didn't do that. She decided to regroup, to take a little bit of time, to take the necessary steps to, work with the architect, get things fixed that would make this building permit become a yes. And to just build that muscle of resiliency. And so in that moment, right, power is built. That's in the space where she is connecting with the truth of who she really is. She's seeing that these circumstances in my life don't determine what I get to build, what I get to have. And that's part of the work. That is like this whole entrepreneurial journey, because there's always another level. You might not be building a brick and mortar business. Maybe your business is online, or, maybe you work one-to-one with people. But it is the same concept, right? There will always be moments where we experience a pause, where things don't go the way they thought they were going to go. When we started Rise Leadership Circle, so for those of you who don't know, my business partner is also my daughter. Kayla and I are in our 7th year together now, leading this incredible community of entrepreneurs. And we were so excited. I mean, we're still excited. I'm excited about it every single day. And when we first started and joined forces together, there were so many moving parts. And we actually decided, and it was in July of 2018 that we decided we were going to create this company together. And we officially opened our doors and launched our very first mastermind and the circle in January of 2018. So for that 6-month period, we were working behind the scenes, we were enrolling clients, we were creating our programming and our content. It was such a labor of love. It was such an amazing time. And then I found out that in January, so the very month that we were launching and opening our doors for the first time, I needed to have a heart procedure. Specifically, it was an ablation procedure. It was something that I was not planning on doing the very month that we are opening our doors, and we are both really busy leading this community and all of the things. And I knew I was going to have to be completely off and out of the picture for, I think that they had told me like it was like a week initially of just like resting and relaxing, and then I could slowly kind of get back to work. And that wasn't the case for me. Like I ended up really having, I've got some adrenal issues. So like after that surgery, I don't know if it was the anesthetic or what, but I ended up like really bottoming out and having absolutely no energy whatsoever. It was probably like a 30-day period after that. So like here I am, so excited. We're launching this community. We have all these people counting on us. And now I'm having surgery and felt absolutely awful. That was a definite yellow light, let's just say, right? And I remember at that time having to really decide what I was going to let that mean in my life, whether or not I was going to let that define me. It seemed at the time like it was just such inconvenient timing. But ultimately, that empowered me. It helped me get healthy. It helped me avoid so many setbacks and delays after that fact so that we could build this business together. And I think it taught me this sense of resiliency, this sense of being able to pivot and rely on my team, but to also just be able to trust that the universe has a plan and it's bigger than mine. So whatever you might be going through right now, maybe this is you. Maybe it just feels like you keep bumping up against these red lights, or you feel like you just had something, sort of come up out of the blue. Like we're just leaving eclipse season. And I know for a lot of you, because I've been in a lot of conversations, there have been a lot of pivots, things that have come up that have been surprising. You're just moving through some difficult things right now. I want to assure you that this is actually the moment where your power is being built. If you do not give up, and if you don't allow this to mean something about you that isn't true, remember that you decide what this means. So how is this for you, right? Is there a lesson here that you're being asked to learn? Maybe you can kind of look at this as a soul assignment that you're moving through. Maybe there's a skill that you're building through this that you're really going to need to grow this business later. Maybe this is about you really speaking your truth and speaking your voice. Maybe this is about you stepping into visibility. Maybe this is about you really learning how to see yourself as the creator of your life, as capable and powerful. Because the truth is, we are not at the effect of our circumstances unless we allow it to be that way. Our job is to remember that we get to decide who we be. And this is the place where, this is the skill. It's the number one skill that we need as entrepreneurs to grow these dreams, to grow into the 6 and 7 figure business that I know many of you are creating in this moment. And I really want to share, this is the work that we do inside of the circle, inside of our masterminds, because my belief, Kayla's belief, is you can have the greatest strategy in the world. You can have a step-by-step copy of someone who is like, I'm going to give you my exact strategy that I use to hit 7 figures in 6 months, or, whatever is being marketed out there, right? And we see that, or it might have a belief of okay, great, I just need to follow these step-by-steps. And then it doesn't work. But the truth is, all strategies work when we are in alignment with that strategy, when we're in alignment with our truth, with our power. So if you feel like you've been trying strategy after strategy and nothing is working, this is where Kayla and I work with our community to look at helping our clients really step into their power on a deeper level, to be able to identify what is life asking of you in this moment? Who are you becoming in this moment? Can you stay committed to the vision and the dream and develop that resiliency and develop that power and learn how to get back into a mindset, into a thought process where you get to decide the meaning? Because what happens is when we decide and we choose, everything is frequency, everything is vibration. If you've been listening for a while, you've heard me say it 100 times. We automatically become the person who is in alignment with the clients that we're attracting, with the business that we're building, with the money that you're calling in. Manifesting is not about just visioning and meditating. That can be a part of it. You manifest who you be. You manifest who you become in the process. So visioning is important. I love that work. It's really great. But you want to take that vision and you want to look at who is that version of me in that vision. Who did I become to get there? Because that's who I be now. I have to think like that person and make decisions like that person and stand in my power as that person. So when you start to do this work, you almost get excited about setbacks because you see that like, okay, there's a next level that I am being called up into here. Let me get curious. Let me see what this is. Let me rise to the occasion so I can step into that next level. And you'll begin to see yourself as so resilient, so empowered. You, the version of you who can really sustain all that you want to create. It's really exciting work. So I hope this encouraged you today if you've been questioning divine timing, if you've been feeling defeated, and if you want to know more about what it's like to be inside of a community where you are supported and encouraged to continue to rise into your power, to see yourself as how powerful you are. And yes, we give you strategy too. We do give you our step-by-step framework so that you can take that and you can make it into alignment with the truth of who you are in the way that is empowering to you. And we really do that deep inner work that helps you see how powerful you are, that helps you create these mindset shifts to become the person who already has that dream, that vision. If you want to know more, you can book a Yes Life activation call. I'm going to go ahead and link that below. This is an actual coaching call. We'll be with one of the coaches on our team, and it is totally free to you. And you'll get to identify like what are some of these roadblocks or these delays to your dream, and what is the next step? What is that next level of activation that you are ready for in order to become the person who has that dream? And if it's a fit, our coaches will tell you about the opportunities to work with us inside of the circle or inside of one of our masterminds. And they'll give you all of the details on that call. They'll let you know which one of our programs is right for you. We give so much information, so much value, but really the best part of being a part of this community is you getting to become the most aligned version of who you are, getting to know yourself at the deepest level, being able to move past blocks that have been in your way so that you know that you are resilient and stepping into the dream life that you want to create. Okay, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you are having an amazing week. Let me know, how did this episode land for you? I love your suggestions. I love when you guys reach out and, tell me what you saw in this for yourself. It makes doing this podcast so much fun. And please go ahead and book that free coaching call. Talk to our team. We are here to help you. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, things you'd like to hear, please do reach out and let us know.